Hi guys, welcome back. This is episode number 55 of Matt Chat, featuring the last part of my interview with John Romero, this time focusing on Daikatana.
Pardon the interruption, Miyamoto-san. There is a visitor waiting outside. Refuses to identify himself. Will only speak to the proprietor of the school. Also, Tanaka-san left a message earlier complaining about the injuries to his son.
I should have stayed in bed.
Over the past 4 videos, we've covered Romero's greatest achievements. His early days as a childhood prodigy, his success, great success with Wolfenstein 3D, of course, Doom, probably one of the most influential games of the 1990s, and Quake. But this episode we're going to look at what some people consider to be an unmitigated disaster, namely Daikatana. Now this was a game that Romero had pretty much complete creative control over. His name is actually part of the title of the game. The full name of the game is John Romero's Daikatana. So he had a lot riding on this game, and you know, to be fair, I think in hindsight, people realized this game wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be at the time. But nevertheless, it wasn't the game that Romero should have made. And it caused a lot of grief for him. And, you know, for the rest of us who really admire Romero. But anyway, here to tell us the story of Daikatana and, of course, the infamous ad campaign is Mr. Romero himself. Well, so without further ado, here's Mr. Romero.
Daikatana. So Quake took 18 months, right? So that was another half a year to Doom schedule kind of thing. You know, it was like 18 months, and Daikatana took almost 3 years. So it doubled that, right? And that was, I'd say that Daikatana was more fun to make than Quake, because I didn't have any creative issues with any. You know, there were no creative issues on Daikatana. It was my game, clear and simple. So there was nothing like on Quake where I would have to I just lost faith in everything because we had to just slap Doom weapons in there. You know, so Daikatana was like the cool new thing that I wanted to do with Quake as for game design was something I knew that we could do. Like, I mean, we were used to pushing all the boundaries and everything. With Daikatana, I still made a shooter formula type game because, to me, the risk of making a game like what I thought the original Quake would be was a much bigger risk for a brand new company than making a traditional shooter type game. Like, to me, I'd rather not take a big risk on the first game and make something more traditional, but still incrementally push FPS forward, but not do the crazy revolutionary idea that Quake would have been. So, so that's why Daikatana was still a traditional shooter-looking game, but with a bunch of innovative stuff that, you know, trying to put the innovation in there. If it's not done well, you know, you can get like the sidekicks, you can get knocked for it. If you're a person who, first of all, made a mistake, you can call it a mistake, that, you know, making Daikatana an expert level FPS, because I wanted the game to be challenging to me, and I wasn't really concerned with people who weren't really good at the game. So it was designed to be hard, and that is not a good mass market design at all. But for people who want an expert FPS, it is a tough game, and it's really fun to play. And if you can work with the sidekicks and try and understand how they work and how to control them and stuff, then you don't have any issues with them because you know how they work. You figured them out. But if you are someone who doesn't want to figure out sidekicks, that you just want them to work, then it's frustrating to play the game. You know, if you want to, if you play Ghost Recon on the PC and you have your guys, that was a very safe design for those sidekicks because those guys did not jump. They were locked to the ground like you were. There was no jump in Ghost Recon. The guys moved very slowly. You know, that was a really safe design, and it was, and it came off really well. It was executed very, very well. With Daikatana, I was trying to make sidekicks that could do what I could do in the game. The way that I jump and do everything, I want my sidekicks doing that, and that kind of programming is hard to do. And so sometimes they didn't pull it off right, you know, and sometimes they would be killed by doors and dumb stuff like that. I hired a bunch of people that never made games before. They made mods, but they'd never made games. So all of those challenges, you know, all of those challenges on top of each other, it's going to take longer to make something. And then with my team leaving halfway through, that doesn't help either, right? And the team leaving issue was all tied up really in all these internal politics that were happening that I didn't want to have any part of because I just want to make a game. So all the internal politics were not anything that Tom and I had focused on or were part of, right? But the internal politics affected the teams. And the team, you know, my team decided to, you know, half my team decided to walk out. But there was a bunch of internal stuff that never should have happened. You know, if everyone was focused on making games, it never would have happened. John Romero's about to make you his bitch, is what it said. The person who was my marketing guy at the time, we had already made our deal with IDOS, you know, before he came on board. I already had a deal. I mean, here it is. We're making these many games. This is how much money we got. Boom, we're going. And so, don't worry about marketing yet because the game's not going to be out for a while. But being a marketing guy, all he wanted to do was market. And so, if he couldn't market the games, he's going to start marketing the people. So he basically was marketing himself. So he was making ads with just us, founders of the company, in the magazines, like CGW and stuff. Just like, here's Iron Storm, suck it down, you know? And so he's like putting ads out of like image ads and just spinning because there was nothing for him to do but try and get a rise out of people, you know, try and show the people Iron Storm is here and we're going to kick your ass. And so with Daikatana, you know, he basically had our ad agency do something really aggressive, and he thought it was awesome when he got shown the thing, and he showed it to me, and I'm like, I would never say that to anybody. He's like, John Romero's about to make you his bitch. He goes, you know, and I'm just like, okay, first of all, I've never called anyone my bitch in my whole life, and I never will because that is gay. That is not me. I would say I'm going to kick your ass, or I'm going to blow your head apart, or whatever. I'm going to do something to you, but I'm not going to make you my bitch. You know, I'm not going to have sex with you. So I would never say that. And he's just like, come on, it's funny, you know, don't be a pussy. And I'm just like, look, it's your job, do whatever, you know. But I really should have not done that. I should have said, no way in hell are you putting that out. Because that basically ruined my connection with the fans and the community. That was, you know, calling them bitches, basically. And that's not anything that I ever wanted to do. And I didn't do it, but that's what it looks like. So I have to take responsibility for letting it out. Up until that ad, really all the way until the end of 97, we had not seen anything bad. The year of 1998 saw all the bad stuff happening, right? All of the Bitch X and Evil Avatar and Fat Babies and all those sites all came into existence. They were all ripping on us. People inside the company that hated some of the people in the company, some of the founders in the company, posted all of the internal whatevers. The people that we got rid of on the outside were trying to destroy us, and that year of 98 ripped half my team out. So it was all sabotage all over the place. That's what all the stuff happened, was all sabotage. And And there it is. That's what happened. But it was still more fun than Quake to make.
And that's all for this week's Matt Chat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wanted to say a special thank you to Dinky Dana, who shouted me out recently in his 1,000th subscriber video. Congratulations, Dana, and thanks for the shout out. As you may or may not know, I depend on you guys to get the word out about my show. I have no advertising budget or marketing plan or anything. So if you have a blog or a site, a forum or something, and you think people might be interested, please let them know about the show. I really appreciate that. Thought I would leave you with a quotation from a book called Guesses at Truth by two brothers, 19th century work. Half the failures in one's life arise from pulling in one's horse as he is leaping. Thought that fit the show rather well. See you guys next week.